Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. I am your host John, and today here on the channel we're going to be counting down the top 10 Arrow video releases of all time. And of course, guys, this is completely subjective, 110% my opinion. So if you disagree, I completely understand. I actually want to know from you guys, what do you believe are the top 10 Arrow video releases of all time? You can leave those answers in the comments section below. Arrow Video has been one of my favorite boutique labels for a very long time. They haven't reached number one yet. That position still belongs to the Criterion Collection, but Arrow Video in a lot of ways outshines the Criterion Collection, especially in packaging. They've given us those beautiful morbidly obese boxes packed in posters, lobby cards, stickers, everything you could imagine. Arrow Video has gone a long way when it comes to their packaging, and they've given the Arrow Video full treatment to some movies that I never could have imagined. Some of my all-time favorite films. So picking a top 10 of all their releases was very, very, very difficult, and I like to draw the line at 10. I don't really ever do any honorable mentions or anything like that because I like the challenge of making these lists. And for the most part, Arrow Video really hasn't missed. There's been some iffy releases like Weird Science that really wasn't the best release from them, but I was still pretty happy because we got Weird Science on 4K Blu-ray and I didn't have it in my collection, and had that nice little slip cover on there, like Flatliners, where it's like that kind of like almost suede feeling material. It was pretty cool, but still, they kind of missed a little bit on the visuals. But really, for me, that's the only one that I can remember off the top of my head where they kind of whiffed it. Some people will say Witness. I think Witness is a great 4K Blu-ray release. It kind of floated with my top 10, but, you know, it didn't quite crack it. So without further ado, let's dive right in here, and we'll start with number 10. And at number 10, I might have one of the more biased releases because I've told you guys a million times that The Mask is one of my all-time favorite films. This was a huge childhood film for me. I was just a huge fan of The Mask before this even got announced for a brand new 4K Blu-ray release. And this is because Arrow Video has a great deal with New Line Cinema. Warner Brothers owns New Line Cinema. So actually, on the day I'm recording this, it was announced that Netflix bought Warner Brothers. So here in the physical media community, we're kind of getting a little bit worried that we're never going to get those 4K Blu-ray releases that Warner Brother has been spoiling us with over the years. And of course, they made this deal with Arrow Video. Does that mean that we're not going to get any more New Line releases? I sure hope not, because we still need Dumb and Dumber and Mortal Kombat on 4K Blu-ray to, you know, complete that like 90s New Line collection. But they did a phenomenal job when it came to The Mask. Now, nothing in here is necessarily like a 10 out of 10. Like, the visuals are a huge improvement. The audio track is the same audio track. We got plenty of new extras, but no new interviews with like Jim Carrey or anything like that. They also just gave us great artwork underneath. Like I said, they gave this the fat box treatment, and I absolutely love it when they do that. I'm not going to fully undress all these, but, you know, I'll pop that slip cover off because unlike some of the releases, you know, they gave us different artwork underneath, which I always really do appreciate. Having the original movie poster, which is something, if you get it directly from Warner Brothers, they're not going to do. The movie still holds up tremendously, so of course, The Mask had to crack my top 10. And at number 9, again, another movie I never expected to get the true 4K Blu-ray treatment. This feels like something that would have came out from Kino, but thank God it came out from Arrow Video. That is William Friedkin's Cruising, one of his more underappreciated film. In 2025, we got spoiled with some great William Friedkin 4K Blu-rays. Between this and Sorcerer from the Criterion Collection, it was eating good in the neighborhood. They also gave us the slipcover over the 4K Blu-ray fat box as well. Arrow Video didn't always used to do this. I think it started with The Warriors, which was another movie that floated with my top 10, and I feel a little bit guilty leaving The Warriors off. If there was going to be an honorable mention or a number 11, it would definitely be The Warriors, because just like this, they went all out. I mean, this slipcover also is a really cool paper stock. It kind of feels like they were trying to go for like a leather look, because this movie, it's about Al Pacino, an undercover cop. He's got to go undercover in the gay scene into the leather bars of the time because there's somebody out there killing people. So he's got to go undercover and find out who it is. Of course, you know, he's got to portray a gay character. So there's a lot of ominous stuff in this movie. It's very atmospheric. I've always enjoyed this movie. I can highly recommend it. And again, they went all out on this release as well. Absolutely stunning. You know, giving it the fat box treatment. That's really all we could ever ask for a movie like this that's very underappreciated, underseen. It looks phenomenal. It sounds pretty good. Again, it got plenty of extras. I can always highly recommend Cruising. And at number 8, this one didn't get the morbidly obese box treatment. This just got a standard slipcover over it, and that was during the original release. It's also since gotten a steelbook release, still from Arrow Video. And this is for Trick or Treat, which, if you can believe it, this movie was sitting on the shelf for years until it eventually just got a straight-to-DVD release, which is just absolutely insane, because Trick or Treat, for me, is one of those movies you can just watch right on Halloween. Like Halloween, Halloween 3, and then Trick or Treat are just like essential day of Halloween viewings. It's an anthology film, just like, you know, another great Halloween film in Creepshow, but it's just done phenomenally, in my opinion. This movie is just surrounding the holiday of Halloween. All of the segments tie into each other, and I just think the movie works very well. Now, as far as the look, this is really, the visuals in this carry it. This is the reason why I made my top 10 list, because the visuals are just absolutely stunning. You know, it's very saturated, very colorful, a lot of oranges that are just gonna pop off your screen. Like seeing that festival that's going on, they got the lights hanging like very early in the movie. Just looks incredible, in my opinion. And for me, that's the big selling point of this, because if you're just a horror fan, you're going to want to have Trick or Treat in your collection, and Arrow Video did not hold back. Now, given it would have been cool if they gave this the morbidly obese box treatment, but still, everything that we got in here is just absolutely awesome, so it had to make the top 10. And next up now, this is a double pack, so it's a double fat. It's a double wide trailer, if you will, of Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. Now, as far as the films go, I believe Conan the Barbarian is a far superior film, in my opinion. They just tried to make it too kiddie-friendly when it came to Conan the Destroyer, but still a pretty damn good watchable film. Both of these 4K Blu-rays look absolutely stunning as far as the visuals go. The audio is great. The extras are great. They gave it the full package treatment, which I absolutely adore. The box art is just incredible. If you're just spinning around, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's got like a flat finish, but Arnold himself and the logo, it's like kind of glossy, so it just pops off of this itself, and I just can't believe this one always flies under the radar, and it's truly one of Arrow Video's best releases. And next up at number 6, kind of looks a little similar to Conan the Barbarian and Destroyer as far as the colors go on the box art, but it also kind of reminds me of Vinegar Syndrome's, like, you know, the main label, like Roadhouse when it came in, where they gave us this beautiful box, which is very different. I don't remember Arrow Video ever doing this before, but Crimson Peak, directed by Guillermo del Toro. This movie, not one of my favorite Guillermo del Toro movies. Actually, when I bought this 4K Blu-ray, sometimes a 4K Blu-ray, it can improve your opinion on the movie. Unfortunately, I liked Crimson Peak a lot more going into the 4K than leaving the 4K. The only thing is, the visuals are a 10 out of 10. The DTSX track on here is also awesome. Because it's a Guillermo del Toro physical media release, that means it's just loaded with bonus features. So it's just everything you could ever want. I thought this was going to be the best 4K Blu-ray release of 2024. Still was pretty high up there. It was a phenomenal release at the time. Now, given the Blu-ray release for this, which looks very similar, was also a great release. So when they eventually jumped up to 4K Blu-ray, you're just taking all that stuff and you just enhanced it. And my God, this is something you have to watch in the wintertime. It's a gothic horror romance film, a little bit too romantic for some people, including myself. It still looks great. Just that clay color, snow, oh my God, looks phenomenal on 4K Blu-ray. It's absolutely a must-own. Even if the film itself might not be the greatest, especially if you're a Guillermo del Toro fan, I don't think it quite reaches the upper echelon of his best films. But the 4K Blu-ray release is absolutely stunning. And at number 5, I brought this up in the past. All we ever want is for our favorite films to get the true boutique level label treatment. And Arrow Video went all out on one of my all-time favorite films, and that is RoboCop. Now, this should be number 1. The only thing is that Arrow Video actually previously released this on Blu-ray, and I believe it's the same exact 2K scan upscaled to 4K Blu-ray for this release, or it was a 4K scan downscaled to 2K. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I don't think the visuals for this 4K Blu-ray release necessarily have held up to 2025 standards, but they went all out with everything else. I mean, you got the OCP logo on the back, you got a poster on the inside. This is before they put the, slip covers over the fat box, so it's kind of of a little bit before its time as far as Arrow Video goes, but still, RoboCop got the full freaking treatment. Now, the only thing is, when it comes to the special features, we have since gotten RoboDoc, which is a 4.5-hour documentary about the making of RoboCop, and everything you could ever want to know about RoboCop is on that documentary. So in comparison to this 4K Blu-ray special features, you know, that documentary is all I could have ever asked for. So it hasn't necessarily aged that gracefully, but it's still one of the best releases from Arrow Video. And at number 4, I got the Psycho 4K Blu-ray collection. Now, this has since gotten a shrunk-down version, but the original one, when you had the shower curtain over it, you have Psycho 1, 2, 3, and 4 in there. Now, originally, Universal did that Psycho 4K Blu-ray that's packed in here, so you might already had it. So there's nothing different about Psycho 1. So Psycho 2, 3, and 4 were the ones that were actually done by Arrow Video, and it wasn't until this 4K Blu-ray release that I finally caught back up and checked out the Psycho sequels, and they really should be appreciated. Now, Psycho 4, not that great, but 2 and 3 are phenomenal. Obviously, they don't hit the highs of the original Psycho, but still, if you're somebody who's a fan of Psycho, you owe it to yourself to check out Psycho 2 and 3. And especially if you're a fan of 80s horror, 2 and 3 just fit perfectly. More 3s. 3 is definitely like the 80s version of Psycho. Psycho 2 is just a phenomenal sequel. I can highly recommend it. And these 4K Blu-rays, again, Arrow Video went all out when they didn't need to go all out. This is one of their coup de grace releases. The audio is great. The visuals for these movies, especially Psycho 4. I would say Psycho 4 is the best looking of these. I actually think it kind of goes in order. It goes Psycho, Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4, as far as the quality of the 4Ks go. When it comes to just the visuals, that is, actually. Because overall, I still think maybe Psycho 2 is probably the best. You know, the original Psycho, I had already had it in an Alfred Hitchcock collection, so it was nothing new. But seeing Psycho 2 and 3 like this, my God, it really truly made me appreciate films that I had just written off. So you owe it to yourself to check these out as well. And at number 3, this is kind of cheating, but I had to do it. And that's just because these movies were kind of made in a very similar style, and they brought to us the entire Dollars trilogy on 4K Blu-ray, or the Man with No Name trilogy, whatever you want to call it, the Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns of a fistful of dollars for a few dollars more, and then, of course, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is always considered one of the greatest westerns of all time. Forget just being one of the greatest spaghetti westerns of all time. And 2025 was truly the year of Clint Eastwood, and to get the entire Dollars trilogy on 4K Blu-ray from Arrow Video. Now, these were just UK releases because here in the United States, Kino Lorber, they did those releases, and honestly, not that great. So when you compare them to these Arrow Video releases, which went all out on these releases, and, you know, there were some delays. These were originally supposed to only come out in April, May, and June, and then I believe they came out in May and August. And you know what? That's fine. As long as they came out great, which they did, and they loaded each one of them up with plenty of bonus features. Like, each one of them got the fat box treatment, and that's unexpected. They got the slip cover over them. Even, like, you know, people probably don't necessarily love a fistful of dollars and for a few dollars more, so they would have been forgiven if they would have just gone the Psycho route and packed it all into one box, but they didn't. They released them all individually, gave them all special treatment, so they all came out phenomenal. I can't pick one. If I had to, I guess I would still say, like, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is probably the best, because, like, that got, I guess, a little bit extra treatment because it is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But, you know, it's like picking your favorite kid. I love all three of them. I can recommend picking up all three. And at number 2, almost was number 1, and honestly, this is kind of like a spoiler for my best of 2025 list. Then again, it might not be number 1. It's kind of on the fence. We'll have to wait and see. A couple more weeks, we'll get that top 10 list. But anyway, at number 2, I got Dark City. This is a movie that has never gotten the recognition it deserves. You know, this movie came out in 1998, 1 year before The Matrix came out, and I think The Matrix just cast too big of a shadow on this movie. It's a great sci-fi film. It's a movie that I've always adored, and it's a huge jump from the Blu-ray to the 4K Blu-ray. And you also have both the director's cut and you have the original cut on 4K Blu-ray, which is not something that every studio does. But this is something that Arrow Video does consistently. They even did it with Mallrats, which has a terrible director's cut in my opinion, but you can watch that terrible director's cut in 4K Blu-ray if you so choose. This version also has a much better director's cut because the theatrical cut actually spoils the movie, so you would want to check out that director's cut. And the reason why this got to number 2 is because they made a brand new documentary for this film, which is not something that we see that often, and I really appreciated that. I want every movie that gets a new restoration to go through that. But you also got a new Dolby Atmos track. The visuals were phenomenal. Like, this literally checks every single box. The packaging is great. It's a complete 10 out of 10 release, and this is why it's number 2. And how could anything beat Dark City? Well, there's always been one that I've said is the number 1, and if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, this really isn't a surprise. And that is True Romance on 4K Blu-ray. True Romance, another one of my all-time favorite films, directed by Tony Scott, starring Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, and so many other great actors pop up in this movie, such as James Gandolfini, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken. I mean, like, literally stack cast top to bottom. Hans Zimmer did the score for this movie. Very similar score to Badlands. Clearly ripped that off. I don't care. I love this movie. And they gave us 2 releases. I happen to have the release that gave us a 4K Steelbook, but they also went a route where it was like a white release and it had like the regular 4K Blu-ray fat box treatment. But no, we got the fat box with the Steelbook on the inside, the poster, the amazing reading material like I always like to talk about, which, you know, always smells so phenomenal. And I had to have it, and they really just blew me away when it came to the visuals and the audio. Like, the visuals, this is one of the ones where I saw it after having the previously released Blu-ray and seeing that for so long. I was like, wow, I don't know if I like this. It looks too good. And then finally, you know, your eyes adjust, and that's the way I'm going to be watching this movie probably for the rest of my life, is how it looks on this 4K Blu-ray. And not many releases can ever reach the levels of True Romance. Like, I want every one of my favorite films to get the True Romance 4K Blu-ray treatment, but that's just not the case. Like, imagine Batman 1989 or The Terminator getting the same treatment as True Romance. Like, I can die and go to heaven and be a happy man if that ever happened. It never will, but I can dream, right? I'm a dreamer, and my God, they went all out when it came to True Romance, and I had to have this version, and it didn't disappoint. And it always gets, like, re-releases, so I could always recommend, even if you only get the standard edition without the fat box, grabbing it on 4K Blu-ray and just checking out the movie, because I think it's another underviewed, underappreciated movie. And Tony Scott, just an underappreciated director as is, because, you know, he was maybe a little bit more style over substance, but when you had a perfect script like this, written by Quentin Tarantino, you end up with a great film, and then eventually that leads to a great 4K Blu-ray release. And like I said up top, guys, this is just 100% my opinion. Film is subjective. These 4K Blu-ray reviews are subjective. My opinion is completely subjective. It's just my opinion. You guys can completely disagree with me. I want to hear from you, so make sure if you are disagreeing with me or you do agree, leave your top 10 list out in the comment section below. And while you guys are down there, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. We also have channel memberships, guys, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo, Harvey Scott, and Ben Rondo, you can do that. Or you can even bump it up to the channel directors like Nicholas Head, Kevin Kruger, Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, Uncle V, and of course Stone Gas Man. Or if you'd like, you could bump it up to the channel bankroll members like Mr. Smelly Potato. But of course, guys, if you have no money to throw my way, I don't mind at all. I just hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.